Hello. It's good to see you. Say hey, Olive. This is Olive, our little kitten. We've been playing. See, it's kind of cool now. You can pick her up and she just sort of flops. I have her supported. She's okay. Hey, say hello, kitty. Ooh, now I want to play. I want to play. Unfortunately, I can't do a gossip video with Olive in here because she will run around and chew on the cords and me. Yeah, she's getting big though. Look how big she is. Look at the big kitty. She's crazy. She is wide open. She just woke up from her nap and she is raring to go. So I'm going to go pass her off to whichever kid is available right now. And I will be right back. Okay. I handed her off to my older son. She's fine. They're out there playing in the hall. She has grown up so much. She's gotten so much bigger than she was. You remember when we got her, I could basically hold her in my hand like that. She was so tiny. She's adorable. We have a lot of fun with her. So I wanted to update you on my refrigerator, and I think this will be the last update. I certainly hope this will be the last update. I don't want to do any more. I'm tired of the refrigerator myself. And tell you about a couple of things that have happened around here. There hasn't been a whole lot going on. I can't remember when I did my last neighborhood update. There hasn't been a lot going on, but there have been a couple things. I got this in the mail. One thing I can finally do now is I can check my mail during the day again. I haven't been able to do that for several weeks now because we had a bird nest built in there's a little cubby under the mailbox where like if you get a newspaper subscription, normally they just throw it in your driveway, but you could possibly put it in this little cubby hole. Well, some birds made a nest in there. And it's kind of weird because right up until about 2 days ago, there was about a week where the mama and daddy birds, if I even went outside, they would attack me. I mean, like literally, I couldn't even walk to my car. They would try to grab like my hair. Have you ever had a bird grab your head? That is the weirdest, most bizarre feeling. They're little, like it didn't hurt. It was really strange. They would swoop down. Most of the time they didn't touch me, but they would swoop within just inches of my head, and like if I just walked out to my car to get into my car to go anywhere. And the car is not right next to the mailbox, but they got to where if they heard the front door open, they would come out and start circling and swooping and chittering and making these angry chittery noises at me. What's really funny though, they would only do it to me. If either of my kids went outside, they wouldn't do it. It's like they decided I'm this evil witch or something. I've never messed with the mailbox or their nest or anything. Now what we would do is, and my kids were doing this too, I wasn't the only one, we had to start checking the mail really late at night, like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. That was the only way you could get anywhere near the mailbox because of these birds. And I would stand out there like I'm trying to get to my car, and I'm out there. I know my neighbors think I'm insane because I'm trying to reason with these birds. I'm telling them, like they're swooping. I mean, it's so crazy. You'll be standing there and you will see it just coming straight at your head. And I'm talking to these birds like, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm not gonna do anything, I swear. And they would just keep diving at my head. But every now and then they would reach down and just kind of like do like that, like it's the weirdest feeling to have that happen. But okay, so it got really bad for about a week. It was really bad. I mean, if I came home from anywhere, it got to where they would know the sound of my car pulling into the driveway. No matter which direction I came from, they would hear me pull into the driveway, and it would either be one of them or both of them. They would instantly come out and start circling the car. If I just sat in the car, they would land on the hood. Well, one of them in particular would land on the hood and just look in at me. Like, I dare you to get out. I dare you to get out. I have never in my life experienced that. That's crazy. And you know, I've had bird nests near my house before. I've never had them do anything like that. These birds are very, very protective. I respect that. I respect that. But then for the last couple of days, it's like they're gone. I don't know if they're just done. I don't know if the babies I guess the babies got big enough to fly away, or I don't know. There's nothing in there. I finally got up the nerve this afternoon because I needed to mail something. I needed to put something in the mailbox. So I thought, I don't feel like driving all the way to the post office to mail this. I'm going to go out to the mailbox. I haven't seen the birds. They're not circling or swooping because I had to go out and mow yesterday. And they didn't bother me at all. I didn't see them a single time all day yesterday or the day before. So I'm creeping out to the mailbox, being really quiet just in case they're still in there. And so I have to I would stand to the side of the mailbox and try to open it like this. And just very gently trying to open the mailbox so as to not disturb them. And but I did that. And nothing happened. Nothing came out of there. So I walked way out away from the mailbox, and I looked in because I thought, God, if they're in there, they're going to come flying out. And if I'm this close, I mean, it's like you would think I was approaching a hornet's nest or something. If I'm this close, they're going to come out of there and just lay waste to me right here in the street. It's going to be bad. But nothing came out. I didn't see any babies in there. I didn't see you can see the nest, but there's nothing. There are no birds in there, no babies, no parents, no nothing. So either I'm hoping the babies just got big enough to fly away. I hope nothing got them. I sincerely hope that wasn't what happened. But I need to let the mailman know because, this was in there though. So because we have more than one mail carrier. There's just one guy that normally does it, but then there's this lady that does it sometimes. She might have been the one to put it in there, but I talked to the guy and I said, look, there's a bird nest in there. They're very aggressive. I don't want them to bother you. So, he said he would just bring the mail and just leave it on the side of the house. So I set up a little area to put the mail in. But when the lady delivers the mail, I never got a chance to tell her. She was putting it in the mailbox, and I don't know if they were bothering her or not. If they were, she didn't say anything to me about it. But yeah, so I was able to get this. This was one of the things out there, and it's really thick too. This is the Ipsy Glam bag for June. And I do these in a separate video. We're gonna be opening this, but it's like that thick. I don't know what is in there that is so bulky, but there's something bulky in there. I'm kind of curious to see what it is, but if I get a chance, I'll try to do that tonight. I have some stuff I have to go do this afternoon, but okay, let me tell you about the refrigerator. I'll get back to that, and I hope this is the last time I will ever have to talk about my refrigerator. But I did learn something, and I want to pass it on to you. This might be something that this might be useful for you. I've learned a lot about refrigerator repair in this process, which is great. It's wonderful. I always like to learn new things, so it was frustrating, and it was quite the merry road we went down, but I got to learn some stuff, so that was cool. Okay, now if you've been following the refrigerator saga, I tried to get one at Flo's. That didn't work out. It should have worked out, but it didn't. And it's a good thing it didn't work out, because what I found out when I went to a local appliance store, just a locally owned company, totally different experience. What I found out when I went there was that the opening that I have for my refrigerator is not a standard size. I mean, I knew it was kind of narrow. I knew it was a little bit more narrow than some. It was only 30. I could only have a 33-inch refrigerator. But what I didn't know was the height was not standard either. The height was only 66 inches. That was the maximum. That was like from the bottom of the cabinet to the floor. It was 66 inches. And what I found out was that's not a standard size. Normally it's taller than that. I don't know all this stuff. I didn't know. the good thing is, it's actually good that Lowe's didn't have the refrigerator, because if I had gotten it, it would have been too tall. And the other one I picked out after that whole mess, it would have been too tall as well. They were both too tall. So it's actually kind of a blessing in disguise that they didn't have them, because when they got here with them, I wouldn't have been able to use either one of them. But nobody at Flo's bothered to ask me about the height. How much room do you have for a refrigerator? Nobody asked me that. I didn't even think about it. But when I went to the locally owned appliance store, that was one of the first things they asked me. It was one of the first things they asked was, do you have all of the measurements for the opening for the refrigerator? And I said, well, I know it has to be 33 inches. It can't be any wider than that. And he said, well, I understand that, but I also need to know how much height do you have here? I mean, is it a standard opening? I said, I have no idea. Anyway, so they were wonderful. If you live in the Greensboro or the Piedmont Triad area and you need an appliance and you're sick of Flo's, you're like F Flo's like I am, let me know. These people are awesome. It's a wonderful company. They're awesome. And if I ever need to buy any more appliances in the future, they will be getting my business and my money, not Flo's, because F Flo's. I'm not dealing with them anymore. So I went to this local appliance dealership and I had one picked out, but it was too tall. So the salesman I was working with did some research and he found a Whirlpool refrigerator that would work. But I did read the comments in the last refrigerator update about the drain, you know, that when it defrosts, when the freezer defrosts, there's a little drain for the water. And you need to check and make sure that's not clogged, because everybody was saying, well, that thing is obviously clogged. Well, I'd had 2 different people look at it and nobody suggested that. And like I said, I don't know diddly squat about this kind of stuff. I don't know anything about refrigerator repair or what could be causing the problem. Well, oh wait, let me back up. Okay, now Carl, the creepy guy at Flo's, suggested that we tilt the refrigerator back 1/4 of an inch. So my dad came down to do that and we got it tilted back. But 2 days later, there was water in the bottom again. It had frozen over again. It was still leaking. I was very angry when I saw that. I was like, dagnabbit. I was hoping that tilting it back would fix it like the creepy guy Carl said, but it didn't fix it. It didn't do anything. So anyway, everybody was saying, you know, check the drain and see if it has a clog in it. Well, I tried that. I watched a couple of YouTube videos on how to do it, and I went through all the steps. I tried to clear it, but it didn't appear to work. I don't know how to describe it. Like, I couldn't tell if it was clogged or not. It seemed like it was clogged. A little bit of water would come out, but not all of it. So it seemed like there was a bit of a clog, but for the life of me, I couldn't clear it. I tried thawing it out, you know, trying to blow air through there, run water through there. Long story short, I thought, okay, now this may be the problem, though. This right here, I bet you anything that's the problem. So I found a local appliance repair company. And again, if you need an appliance repair company, these people are great. I found the best people. Oh my God, they're wonderful. They came out yesterday morning. I had the most fun. Okay, so I got some ice and I put everything in the cooler. Everything in the freezer anyway. I wasn't sure how much I needed to take out. And the guy that came out he was so much fun. He was so funny. And he reminded me a lot of Leslie Jordan, if you're familiar with him. Talked just like him. He was about the same height. He favored him a lot. It was like having Leslie Jordan fix your refrigerator. I had a blast. He was so funny. And I'm telling you, theoretically, I about busted out laughing. But okay, so he gets the drawer out of the freezer, and you know, he's looking down in there, and he had his head in the freezer, and he goes, "Well, shoot." I about busted out. I almost expected him to say, "What are y'all doing?" He said, "Well, shoot, you got a clog." You got a heck of a clog. I said, "Okay." It was the most bizarre but awesome experience having him fix the freezer drain. Okay, so what he ended up doing was, so he said, "Well, you got two problems. First of all, there's a clog, and it's also frozen solid. There's a clog way down in there, but there's water in there that has frozen all the way down in that thing. We got to unfreeze the water, and then we got to blow that clog out of there." I said, "Well, I tried to run some water through there." He said, that won't do it. You got to do better than that." I said, "I'm sorry." He said, "It's okay." So he went out to the truck, and he got a hairdryer, and he just, you know, used the hairdryer, just kind of blowing it just enough to loosen it up so he could get, you know, get it out of there. And so he did that. And then he just took up a hose pipe and just blew some air down in there, and you could hear it. I mean, you could hear it dislodge the clog. He said, "There it is." And he just took a cup of water and he poured it, and it went. You could hear it draining. He said, that was it right there. That was your problem. That's all it is." And I said, "Are you serious?" He said, "Yeah, you're good. That was your problem right there." So anyway, he said, "Well, here's what you do if you want to, you know, one tip, if you have a refrigerator, one thing that you can do to help prevent that from clogging in the future," and this is what I learned, I wanted to pass it on. He said, okay, so for the little tube that drains out, it has what's called a P trap, because it's kind of shaped like a letter P, and it kind of dips down like this, and water will sit in there, and it doesn't, you know, it won't evaporate right away. There'll be a little bit of water sitting in that thing, and a fungus, you know, gets a fungus in it, and that fungus over time will build up and clog that little thing. One thing he said you can do that will help prevent that is about every 6 months, take, you know, just you only need the amount that would fill a shot glass, you know, just a little bit of vinegar, any kind of vinegar you want to use, enough to fill a shot glass, and just pour that down in that little hole in your freezer. Every 6 months or so, just pour it down in there. He said that's all you got to do, and that will help kill off that fungus, and it will help prevent that from clogging in the future. So we did that. After he cleared it out, I got him a little, I didn't have any shot glasses. I just took a little juice glass and put some vinegar in it, and he just poured it down in there. And he said, "Yeah, just do that every 6 months, and it'll help prevent that from happening again." It could still possibly happen, but it might prevent it. It makes it less likely, I guess. So I set up, right then and there, I got my phone out and I set up a reminder for every 6 months to do that. Just pour a little bit of vinegar down in there. And yeah, so my refrigerator, I am happy to tell you, well, now that was just yesterday morning, wasn't it? God, it's been a long week. That was just yesterday morning. I'm happy to tell you, I can hear it drain. You can hear it dripping a little bit in that drip pan under the refrigerator. I didn't hear that before, but you can hear it now. No problems. I've had no more water accumulate in the bottom. I'm going to keep an eye on it just to make sure, but from the looks of it, the problem is solved. Now here's the funny part. I love my dad. I love my dad to death. He's awesome. So I called my dad to tell him about it. First of all, I wanted to tell him that what we did didn't work. I said, you know, we tilted it back and it was still, water was still accumulating in there. And he said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." So I told him, I said, "I called a repairman." He said, "Now, why'd you do that?" I said, "Because I wanted to see if I could fix it." He's not a big fan of calling people to come fix anything. He thinks you should be able to fix everything yourself, and he forgets. I love my dad, but he forgets that I don't know everything he knows. You know, I'm not an electrician. I'm not a plumber. I don't know how to fix refrigerators. I just don't know how to do that kind of stuff. But I'll try to learn, and I've learned a lot from this. I know how to deal with that freezer issue if that ever happens again. And I'm going to do the thing with the vinegar every 6 months too. So I'm trying to learn. I don't know everything, but I'm trying to learn. So I said, well, you know what it was? He said, what? I said, it was the drain for the freezer was clogged. And he goes, well, you didn't tell me you didn't check that. I just assumed you checked that, and it was all right. Why didn't you tell me you hadn't looked at that? I just thought you had. I thought everybody knew that. I said, no, Daddy, everybody does not know that. I didn't know that. I didn't even know that hole was back there. To find it in my refrigerator, you have to pull the bottom drawer out to get to it. It's not, you don't see it like when you open the freezer. And that's why I had to watch a video about it. I didn't even know it was down there. And when you open my freezer, because of there's a wall over here, you can't open the freezer all the way. So in order to even get that drawer out, you have to pull the refrigerator out from the wall. It's a pain in the butt. And that's the only way you can open the door up enough to get that drawer out to get to the hole. It's a whole thing. It's a pain in the butt. I had to pull it all the way out to get to that little tube. I've had to pull my refrigerator out twice now, just in a week, a little over a week and a half. So he said, yeah, I just assumed you checked that. Well, I could have told you that's probably what it was. I just assumed you checked and that wasn't the problem. So I felt stupid after that, but you know, he assumes that that I know things that I don't know because he knows them, and he forgets that everybody doesn't know that. But I said, no, I didn't know that. So all right. So anyway, it's fixed. I think it's draining. It's working beautifully. I am very happy. So after it was fixed, I called the local appliance store. I talked to the salesman. The wonderful thing is I get to talk to the same person every time. I have his card. I can ask for him personally. And I told him it was fixed. He was very happy. He said, that's wonderful. You know, it's going to save you a lot of money. Yeah, it did save me a lot of money. And he said, well, you know, we won't do anything, but if you ever need anything in the future, just please let us know. We'll be happy to help you. And I didn't get put on hold. It's not like when I call Flo's where I get put on hold and get accidentally cut off over and over and over, and I never get to speak to a person about anything. No, they pick right up. They help you right away. It's wonderful. It is wonderful. Yeah, next time I need an appliance of any sort, that's where I'm going to go. Absolutely. Because they have washers and dryers, dishwashers, stoves, any household appliance you can get there. So I will be absolutely contacting them. So hopefully we're done with that. I really hope we are. And my refrigerator can work, and I won't have to keep chipping ice out of the bottom of it every other day. That would be nice. Okay, neighborhood. I'm gonna put a timestamp for this in the description if you didn't want to hear about all that. Not everybody cares about my refrigerator. I'm very happy right now though. It's wonderful. I like the fact that I can walk into the kitchen and not worry about a huge puddle being on the floor. I think it's old after a while. All right, what's been going on around here? Trip has gotten on my son's last nerves, my older son. He has set up a PA system, theoretically. Or maybe I should say hypothetically. Oh, I used it wrong. Hypothetically, I don't care. He set up, I have this portable PA system that I use for, I head up and host one of my family reunions every year. I have two, one for my dad's family, one for my mom's family, and I head up and coordinate one of them every year. And we have it in this big room, and nobody can ever hear me. Like half the people in there are hard of hearing, and I don't talk that loud. Really, my voice doesn't carry like I wish it would in a large room. So I got just this portable little PA system. It's just a little speaker, you know, with a microphone. I think I got it on Amazon for like $50 or something. And he got mad at Trip a few days ago because Trip was out there. Okay, hypothetically, Okay, first of all, Trip took the muffler, or he took something off the vroom vroom bike, which made it twice as loud as it was before. I've made videos. I think I put one on Instagram of the vroom vroom bike. It's even louder now than it was in that video. He has done something to it. It sounds like a rocket ship. I don't know any other way to describe it. It sounds like a drag strip car. I mean, it is insane how loud it is. And he will sit there and he will just wind it all the way up to the point where it sounds like it's going to blow up or something. And he'll just hold it like that for an uncomfortably long time. And it is so loud. There was one day, was it Wednesday? Wednesday evening, it was so loud it was shaking my windows. And he's not even on this street. He's a whole other street over from me. He is a considerable distance from my house. But you can't do anything about it. If it's before 10 o'clock at night, there's nothing you can do about it. It surprised me, but yeah, apparently there's nothing I can do. The homeowners association said, well, you should go talk to him. And I'm like, no. He knows he's bothering people, and I think if he knew it was bothering people, he would do it more, which hypothetically, that might be why it's louder, because I think some other people have talked to him. I don't know for sure, but I know that quite a few other people around here are thoroughly disgusted with him and sick of it. So whatever he has, it's the same bike. It is the same bike, because I rode by there one day when he was out there working on it. Because I almost wondered, like, did he get another bike or something? Because it sounds so different. It's the same one. It's the same one, and it's one I've never seen before. I don't know what kind of motorcycle it is. It's not a Harley, not a Honda, not a Kawasaki, Suzuki. It's none of that. I don't know what it is. It's some kind of strange, I don't know, it's some kind of motorcycle I've never seen before. It's so loud. If you're outside, it will hurt your ears. I mean, it is unbelievable. So anyway, my son is thoroughly fed up. And so now, when he starts doing that, he opens the window and he'll just pick the most obnoxious song he can find. He'll set the amp in the window and play, I think yesterday it was Frozen. He was playing the theme song from Frozen as loud as he could over the thing. And Trip's over there screaming, telling him to turn it off. So my son picks up the microphone. He goes, I don't think so. And he just put it right back in front of him. He was playing it on his phone or something, and he just... And then he played the Barney song, you know, I love you, you love me. He played that like 10 times in a row at full volume. And Trip got so mad, he went back inside, and he didn't mess with the vroom vroom bike anymore for the rest of the afternoon. It's very innovative. Hypothetically, I give my son credit for that, because I didn't even think about it. Like, you know, yeah, okay, because I better not say anything else, but yeah. Hypothetically, I don't think Trip can do anything to us for that. We're not talking to him directly. We're just playing music at a reasonable volume. We're just enjoying some music while he works on his vroom vroom bike. It's been 3 months. I don't think I'm being ridiculous. Maybe I am allegedly being ridiculous, but I've been listening to the vroom vroom bike now since probably, what, about the beginning of March? The kids were still in school when this started, so it's been about 3 months at least. I've been listening to this thing, and I'm over it. Like, if you can't fix this thing, you know, give up. Just give up. You're driving us all crazy. Everybody around here is sick of it. You know, move on to something else. But that's been a minor nuisance. He was working on it earlier, but it's quiet right now, thank goodness. If it cranks up again, I'll have to stop my video, because first of all, it will be really loud, and then my son may get the amp back out. And he said he's set up a whole playlist now of songs. He's got a bunch of songs from the Barney TV show. He has the Frozen theme. The Greatest American Hero, that was another one. I always thought the theme song to The Greatest American Hero was pretty awesome. He said, I got that on there. He's ready. Like, just start it up. I want to play all these. He's excited. Okay. Okay, what else has been happening? I want to tell you about the side of beef with Joe over here, but let me tell you about the dudes in trucks first. I don't know what to make of this. Now, I know the whole thing with the hole has been weird. I think this is one of the weirdest things I've seen with the dudes in trucks. It's the same dudes in the same trucks. Now they're parking, okay, Tripp's street is back there. It's just grids of streets. Now his street is back there. The hole is down yonder. There's a new hole. The old hole looks like it was never there. And that's what I was saying last time. If you went by the field where the hole was, you would never know there was ever a hole there. And it's really weird because the weeds and stuff growing over it, it looks like there was never anything there. It looks like those weeds have been there for months. It's very strange. It's almost like an optical illusion or something. I would almost think I was crazy, except now the dudes are parking their trucks all up and down Tripp's street. It's not his street, but I mean, he lives on it. But I mean, down past his house, like going that way. All their trucks are lined up on the street, which is a pain in the butt because it's a really narrow street and it's hard to get through there as it is. And now with their trucks parked on it, it's even worse. It's basically down to a one-lane road now because of their trucks. And they have these big beefy trucks with the side view mirrors that stick out like antlers, and it's just obnoxious. It's bad too because a lot of people like to walk, you know, like they walk their dogs and stuff, and they have to get out in the road like and people fly up and down that road. It's dangerous. So they're here. The dudes in trucks are here, and they're really close to my house, and it's kind of creepy, honestly. You don't ever hear anything. It's quiet down there. I always thought, you know, if you were around the hole, like, you know, where it was before, I just always imagined there'd be always, you know, lots of noise and racket and activity going on. It's really not like that. It's actually kind of quiet. It's creepy, right? So you go down, you walk down there a little ways, there's a creek down there, and the hole is down there near the creek. Now, it was quiet for a while. They had it covered up with planks of wood, like they had it covered and they weren't doing anything with it. And on top of the planks, they had these big metal drums, like the 55-gallon metal drums, you know, set up just empty. Because I walked by there to look. I didn't mess with anything, but I was just curious. And the trucks were here, and the dudes were here periodically. But they weren't here all day like they were where it was before, where they'd be up there all day doing nothing but standing there. That was still weird to me. You'd have 20 to 30 guys just standing around the hole looking at it, not doing anything. They just stand there all day. Well, they're out there and they're still standing around, but they do have some chairs scattered about. So it looks like this, whatever it is a little bit more laid back. That's not the weird part. I mean, it's weird, but all right. There's another street going that way, and they've been doing some paving, and I think the focus is not so much on paving as it is kind of just doing work on the street. They did some digging, like they chipped away all the asphalt in some big chunks of the road. They had it closed off for a while, and so they dug up some big chunks of concrete. They were digging holes in the ground. They dug up some of the manhole things, and then, you know, they removed all the asphalt down to just dirt, and then they put a layer of asphalt down. And I thought, oh well, whatever they were doing, they must be done. They put down a layer of asphalt, and it sat there with the manhole covers raised up above the asphalt. I thought, well, they're going to come back and put down some more. They're not going to leave it like that. Well, it stayed like that for about a week, and then this went on late last week. They came back, and these are not the dudes in trucks. These are like DOT people or highway department or whatever, whoever. They came back, busted up all the asphalt, pulled it out. They shut the street down again. And then they went out there with these little stakes. Okay, so you're back down to dirt. They went out there and put out these little wooden stakes like this, and they had little orange little pieces of tape on them, sticking all in the ground over. I couldn't see because it was closed off, but it was like a 20-foot square area right in front of this house. And, you know, there are houses, you know. The dudes in trucks. And I've gotten to where I recognize these guys because they wear different hats. They have these hard hats, but it's not like the hats that the highway people wear. They wear these white hard hats. And it does have a blue, some kind of blue logo on it. And you remember they told me they were from the pipeline. Okay, so they came up. There were about a dozen of them. And it was on the day I was at home. And I happened to see this. I was on my way to the store. And I saw them walking. Because they were coming up from where the hole is. Walking up. And they went up there. And apparently what they did was they had string, like, I don't know, twine or something, and they were tying strings to the ends of these little wooden stakes that they had stuck in the ground. Tied string. And it looks like they ran the string from each of those stakes all the way down to the hole. And there were bunches and bunches of these strings, and they were running through people's yards. They were running behind people's houses, like down into the woods. And the strings go all the way down into the hole. And I don't know where they go from there. I mean, I can't go in the hole. They've got the hole open back up. I don't go down there. They're not allowing anybody to walk by there. You are not allowed to do anything. You can't go down there anymore. They've got it taped off where you can't go down there. Not that you would normally do that anyway, but so I don't know. The street is still busted up. I don't know how long they're going to leave it that way. It would really suck if you lived on that street. Like people are having to park. You can't even drive to your house. I guess if you have groceries, you just have to park way off down here where the street's not closed. Carry stuff to your house. What a pain in the butt. And it's still like that today. It is still, there are all these stakes with strings tied to them and these little pieces of orange neon tape on the pieces of wood. Now, what in the world? I don't understand why they've left it that way for so long. That's the weird thing. Like, you know, usually when they work on the streets, they try to hurry up and get done. You know, if it's in a residential area, like people want to be able to get to their houses and stuff. They don't seem to be in any hurry to get the street open back up. It's really weird. So, if anybody has any idea what that might be, taking into account all the other weird stuff, keeping in mind these are the same dudes, the same trucks from the other hole. Now, why would they be tying long pieces of string? And it's just twine. It's like just, it's not rope. It's just this little pieces of string. Running them down through the woods, and the strings end down in the hole. What would the hole have to do with the street? Because obviously it has something to do with the street or the ground under the street. Now, there's no sign of any kind of a pipeline. You know, usually with the pipeline they'll have signs up. I've not seen any of that. Now, there is a pipeline not far away from here. I don't think this is the pipeline. I don't know what it is. It's really perplexing. So I feel really bad for the people that live there and they can't even drive up to their house. And I guess they're going to have to go through the whole weekend like that too. I was hoping they'd get something done so they, you know, by the weekend. No, it's still closed off. And you're talking about at least 5, maybe 6 houses of people that can't get to their house right now. They have to park down on another street and walk up. They're allowed to walk up, but they can't walk on the road. They have to kind of walk along the curb or in the edge of people's yards, and it's really bizarre. I've never seen anything like it. I haven't talked to any of these guys. Honestly, they give me the creeps. I don't know. But that's what's been going on with the dudes in trucks. The last thing I had to tell you, two things. Joe over here. Now, if you haven't been following, hypothetically, I have a neighbor who just bought this house. How long have they been there now? They've been there a year. Joe over here won the lottery. I don't know how much money he got, but he's always kind of humble bragging about his money. And he bought this house next to me from his nephew. And he was living with these two ladies, and I just refer to them as Itchy and Scratchy. And Scratchy moved out, took her Barbie Jeep with her. She had this pink Jeep. She's gone. I don't want to read into it too much, but I think there's like a Scratchy 2.0 over there now, because there's another lady who is now staying there. She appears to be staying there. She has a little red sports car, and she looks way younger than Itchy, because the Itchy and Scratchy, now Joe himself, he's probably in his 50s, I'd say, maybe mid to late 50s. Itchy and Scratchy look like they're my age. Scratchy's gone, and the rooster is gone. Boots is gone. Boots still has not returned. I don't know. I think Scratchy took Boots and the rooster. I think she was trying to get the rooster to become like an Instagram thing. It was a very, I don't know, a very colorful rooster of some sort. I don't know roosters, but I know they were trying to do something on Instagram with Boots. And I think they were trying to do something with the rooster, and then there was something happened. I think there was some kind of a blow up, and Scratchy moved out, and she has not returned. But so now Scratchy 2.0 looks like she might be 20, early 20s. She's young. She's like half the age of Itchy and me. Now, but hey, I don't know. It could be his daughter for all I know. I have no idea what the nature of their relationship is. I've noticed though that Joe has started wearing a shirt. Now, for a long time, Joe would never wear a shirt. It could be January. He'd be out there on the deck grilling with no shirt on. It was like Randy from Trailer Park Boys, like, put a shirt on. Then what? So he started wearing a shirt, which is kind of weird. It's almost strange to see him with a shirt on. Anyway, I was out there mowing, and he comes up to me. He goes, "Hey, that's my name. Hey, would you be interested in a side of beef?" I'm right in the middle of mowing, and when I mow, my mind just wanders. I come up with great ideas for, I'm writing a book. I come up with ideas for that. I come up with ideas for videos. I love to mow. I really do. I love it. It's good exercise. I have a push mower. I love the way it looks when I'm done. And I really hate it when people interrupt me when I'm mowing. Hypothetically, Joe comes up, "Hey, would you like to buy a side of beef?" And I said, "Oh, what? You want to buy a side of beef?" I said, "I don't have anywhere to put a side of beef. I don't think I'm interested." He said, "All you gotta do is get you a freezer." I said, "Well, if I'm gonna buy a freezer, I'd rather just buy my beef a little bit at a time. And I don't have anywhere to put a freezer." He said, "You can put it on your back deck." I said, "I don't have a deck back there. I have a concrete slab. I don't have a deck. I couldn't put a freezer out there. It wouldn't work." And he said, "Well, I could put it in my basement for you. I keep it down there, and if you want anything, you just come let me know." I said, "No, thank you." He said, "Oh, I ain't no pervert. I ain't gonna do nothing." I said, "No, thank you." Well, he has ended up with a whole cow, a steer. I don't know how that happened. He's ended up with a whole steer of cut up beef, and he's trying to sell it. And I said, "I got nowhere to put it." So he was a little sore at me. He said, "This is a good deal for you. You can get it's a real good deal. I'll cut you in good." I said, I'm not interested. We really don't eat that much beef. Honestly, it's pretty rare. No pun intended. We really don't eat a whole lot of beef. Oh, you need to eat some. Boys of yours need some beef. Make them grow up big and strong. We eat a lot of chicken, but we don't really eat a whole lot of beef. um, so he was mad at me, and he goes, I'm sorry for that ruckus the other night. Now, I didn't hear a ruckus. I wasn't listening for a ruckus. Apparently there was a ruckus, hypothetically. He said, yeah, I'm sorry about that ruckus. And so I was curious. I wanted to know what the ruckus was, theoretically. I said, oh, yeah, I wondered about that. Now, I didn't hear anything. It must not have been as loud as he thought it was, or I was sound asleep or something. I said, yeah, I heard that. I was a little concerned. And he said, yeah, I tell you what, I never learn. I said, oh, really? Why's that? Well, I can't figure out women. I don't understand women. You know, I've tried all my life to understand women. They don't make no sense. I said, I hear you. And he said, you think you can help me understand women? I mean, you're a woman. You seem smart. Can you help me? I said, I don't think it's anything can be done about this. Because I still had no idea what he was talking about. I don't know if it was his way of trying to just carry on a conversation with me and he just doesn't know how to do it, or if he was flirting. I'm going, dude, you already got a replacement for Scratchy, unless it's his daughter, and I still don't know the nature of the relationship. You already got a replacement for Scratchy. You just stated you don't understand women. I don't think bringing a third woman into this is going to really make anything better. I just kind of said, you know, hey, I don't know what to tell you, you know. I don't think I'd be much help. I have a psychology degree, but I kept that to myself. So he went on back in the house, but he said, but you need to take that meat. You need to take that side of beef. It's a half of a cow, half of a steer. It's good meat. It's free range Angus beef. Good quality. I only get the best quality, blah, blah, blah. I like, you know, top dollar, spend money, whatever. He had a car. Shoot, I meant to tell you what kind of car it was. It was a sports car. It started with an R. And I've already forgotten what it was. It was a type I've never heard of before. But that's gone. He had it for a while. And he was always out there waxing it. But I think it's gone. I think he either sold it or it got repossessed. And the way he's talking about always blowing money, I mean, I don't know how much he won in the lottery, but it's almost like, you know, you might want to slow down a little bit. You might run out of money. I don't know if he's thought about that. I don't know if he's good at managing money. It's really none of my business, but so apparently there has been a little dust up over there recently, theoretically. And I haven't seen Itchy too much. She used to come out and like sunbathe outside, and I haven't seen her. Of course, we've had pretty lousy weather around here lately. I don't know. It's I'm curious to see who this person is. She never talks. She just goes in and out and doesn't speak. But you know, Buffalo Bill over here is the same way. He never speaks. He did speak to my son the other day. My son went out there he was taking the cans out to the curb for trash day, and he actually said hello to my son. Because my son came back in the house and said, that guy spoke to me. I said, really? He said, yeah. He said hello. We've lived here for 3 years. He's never said hello. So my son said that's the first time he's ever spoken to me. I couldn't believe it. I was in shock. He's as creepy as ever. Still driving what I believe was his parents' car. It's still banged up. And his parents never returned. You know, they were living there. He was living there with his parents. And then theoretically they just disappeared one day, and then he was gone for a long time. He was gone. That house was empty for a month. And then all of a sudden he just reappears over there with their car, and they're gone. Like, both of them are just no sign of them. I have not seen them since. Just him. And every now and then I think he had a little girlfriend for a brief period of time, but she doesn't come around anymore. So he must have ruined that, or something happened. I don't know. But so I guess the most interesting thing though was the street over there. I really hate it for them that it's going to be closed all weekend because they're going to have to walk to their house and walk like from down there up here. That sucks. Anyway, I don't know. That's about all I got as far as the refrigerator. Hopefully this will be the final update on the refrigerator and my neighborhood update. So thank you so much for watching. I need to take off and take care of some stuff, but I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you again soon.